Hello, welcome back to the Jeevers Golf Channel. Thanks for coming back. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate you coming by. My name is Hans Jeevers. I'm a fantasy golf contributor for ProGolfNow.com and Fansetta.com. And this week we're going to talk about the 2020 Wyndham Championship. Of course, last week we put our first major championship in the books, or rather late in the year because of the COVID-19 virus, but we finally did get one in. That was the PGA Championship, which was won by the young Collin Morikawa, 23-year-old young talent, outstanding player. I see many great things to come for him. I believe that's his third win in 13 or 14 months. That's pretty impressive. So anyway, let's shift our focus to the Wyndham Championship. This event has been played at Sedgefield Country Club every year since 2008. Some people would like to call it the Webb Simpson Open. I kid, but he has such an outstanding record here. I guess maybe they could consider it. But all joking aside, Sedgefield Country Club, we have Bermuda grass fairways, we have Bermuda grass greens. Looking at the weather forecast, I see 50% thunderstorms every day in the afternoon, just like you'd expect in the South. You may have a soft golf course as far as conditions go, depending on the rain that may come down this week prior to the event as well. Keep that in mind, as some guys like more fast and firm conditions as you're compiling lineups. So the Sedgefield Country Club is not going to be like last week, where we had more of a tough test for these PGA Tour professionals. This week we're back to the 22 under par type score to win an event. That can be illustrated by last year's winner, JT Poston, won his maiden win, got his maiden win on the PGA Tour at the 2019 Wyndham Championship, and he won it at a score of 22 under par. We can expect more of the same here this week. This course is a par 70 that measures 7,127 yards. Fairways aren't too difficult for these players. These greens are gettable. GIR shouldn't be an issue. I expect rather low scores once again. So keep that in mind. You want golfers that can score early and often, that don't mind these birdie fests. As I may have said in prior videos, well, hey, wouldn't every golfer want a birdie fest? Well, you would think so, but some golfers prefer the more difficult tests, such as John Rahm, who made that reference a few weeks ago at the Memorial, which was a track that was very similar to a major tournament. So JT Poston, of course, won last year. This year, we're going to have Webb Simpson on many people's radars, as he's just got an unbelievable record. I had to include him as well. He's not my number one pick. My number one pick in my DraftKings article that dropped today will be Harris English. He comes in on the DraftKings slate at $9,300. The 31-year-old American has been playing pretty well this year. I was rather impressed with what he did last week at the PGA. I believe he finished 19th last week on a very difficult track. He has 8 events played on the PGA Tour this year. And those 8 events played, he had 7 top 19 finishes. And of course, I just mentioned the 19th place finish he had at the PGA Championship. This is a guy that likes Bermuda greens. I expect him to putt well this week. And he is my main selection. Harris English at $9,300. Having stated that, I can't leave out Mr. Simpson because there's just too much win equity, and also he's just too good on this track. If I leave him off and he finishes top 15, I'm not going to win a GPB tournament. So Webb Simpson, he comes in on the slate at $11,200. The 2012 United States Open champion, has played this event the last decade. He has never missed a cut here in the last decade. In those 10 events played, Webb has an impressive 8 top 11 finishes, including a win in 2011. Next up on DraftKings, Tom Lewis. I watch a lot of European Tour golf. This is a guy I've seen cut his teeth on that tour over the last few years. Tom Lewis, outstanding Englishman. He has won a few times over there on the European Tour. I believe he's won the Portugal Open twice, last in 2018. But what's important is what he's doing now. He's got 2 top 12 events, 2 top 12 finishes in his last 4 events on the PGA Tour, including a second place finish at the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational just a few weeks ago. And that field is stacked. That is not an easy event to finish second in. Very impressive with Tom there. Next up on DraftKings, Charles Schwartzel, 2011 Masters champion. He does have a green jacket. He has 3 top 17 finishes this season, including a 3rd place result at the 3M Open 3 weeks ago. Also like the fact that Schwartzel finished 3rd at the 2015 Wyndham Championship, so we know he likes this track. Next up, a Swede, Henrik Norlander, 6 top 25 finish this season. I think he's a little bit under the radar. He has a 6th place result at the Memorial Tournament last month. Henrik also has previous results here at the Wyndham. He's played pretty well. He had a 16th place result at the 2013 Wyndham Championship. I looked back that year, he had multiple missed cuts coming into that event and still got a 16th place finish. He's a much better golfer now, Henrik Norlander, than he was in 2013, I assure you. And I expect him to do good things this week. Lastly, on DraftKings, I have the Australian Cameron Davis. Cameron Davis comes in on the slate at $7,000. He has 3 top 25 finishes on the PGA Tour this season, including an 8th place finish at the Honda Classic in March. So those are who I like on DraftKings. That article was already published today on ProGolfNow.com. I could not put any links in the description area because YouTube frowns on it. So just put in Hans Jeevers, Pro Golf Now. It'll take you right to the site and you can see it. Also, all of my content is absolutely free. It's not behind a paywall. Absolutely free, okay? So my FanDuel article is in the process of being written this evening. However, we'll have that out in the morning. But I will tell you who I like on FanDuel. I like Justin Rose. Justin Rose finished 9th last week at the PGA Championship. He's a guy that if he hopes to make the FedEx playoffs in a couple weeks, he needs to do well in these last few tournaments. If he doesn't, he will not get a chance to be in the playoffs. Motivation is something you have to look for with these guys. Justin Rose, full disclosure, has not had a great last month on the PGA Tour. However, motivation is a key in my opinion. He came to play on a rather difficult track at the PGA Championship last week. I expect him to play even better on a birdie fest this week in a much weaker field. Give me Justin Rose, the 2018 FedEx Cup champion, this week. He comes in on the slate on FanDuel at a price of $11,400. Next up on FanDuel, I'll be going with Patrick Reed. He comes in at 11-6. In the last 12 rounds played on the PGA Tour in relation to the field this week at the Wyndham Championship, Patrick Reed ranks 16th in strokes gained tee to green, 5th in total strokes gained, 5th in strokes gained around the green, and 15th in DFS points total. You want guys that are going to get you some fantasy points. So I'll leave you with that, as I had a little bit of a silence there. Tomorrow morning, my FanDuel article will be out. My DK article is out now. Go check them out. If you don't mind hitting that like button, I'd appreciate it. It'd be outstanding. Again, my name is Hans Jeevers, fantasy contributor. Golf is what I love the most and what I write about the most. And if you go check out my content, really appreciate it. Hit the like button, it'd be awesome. Hit the subscribe button, it'd be even better. Appreciate it. Let's have a great Wyndham Championship, and we'll see you next week. Take care.